Rex, don't be discouraged na konti lang kasi this is recorded kaya everybody who can't make it today will listen to it later. At least, you did your share na.
Miss Frebs, is my audio okay, right? Frebs?
Pardon?
Yes. I-full screen na lang, Rex. Paki-full screen. Anyway, that
a few
would be
days after, Rex, okay lang, ha?
Yes, ma'am.
A few days after.
Look at the time, it's 1 hour, so I will prepare.
Hindi, 20 minutes lang ang talk mo, tapos magdidiskusyon tayo, ha? Oo.
Marami na.
Ito na,
Okay.
mapasok na rin.
30 minutes,
Oo, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
okay. Oo.
Paki-unshare muna, Rex, para meron lang ipapakita na video yung PAASE.
Ma'am, stop sharing na ako po.
Pa-unshare muna. Ayan. Sige.
Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 20th of the PAASE for Philippine Innovation Fireside Chat Series. I'm Gisela Concepcion, your co-host, and I am an executive member of the National Innovation Council and a retired professor of UP Diliman. I'd like to thank all our participants today, and most especially our guest speaker, and Dr. Vic Pila, who convinced Professor Rex Traifalgar of UPV to speak today to us about a very important topic, which is on the development of feeds for aquaculture that is being undertaken in UP Visayas. So in the National Innovation Agenda and Strategic Document, or NIASD, that was launched last September 2023, one of the priority areas is food and agriculture. And so this is right along our priority interests for the country. All innovation done in the context of climate change. And in this series, we've had at least two or three speakers speaking about agriculture, uh, livestock, and fisheries. And I think that all of us should pay attention to the innovations that are being undertaken, not just in universities, but also in the private sector. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I would like to now turn over the stage to my co-host, very distinguished professor of De La Salle University, highest ranking professor of mechanical engineering and vice president of the National Academy of Science and Technology, and past president also of the PAASE. So Dr. Alvin Kulaba.
Thank you, Giselle. Good morning. This is our 20th, I think, 20th Fireside Chat series on Philippine innovation. And we have another very interesting topic this morning. And what a way to celebrate, a happy Lunar New Year. And our guest speaker is a scientist, in fact, a scientist three in the UP scientific system and a professor at the Institute of Aquaculture, College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences at the University of Visayas. He earned his PhD in fisheries science with specialization in nutritional immunology and biochemistry from the United Graduate School of Kagoshima University in Japan. His interests are in the development of practical and simple solutions to resolve issues affecting the aquaculture industry. His current works include bioactive feed additives, sustainable feed ingredients, fish meal replacement, and selective breeding of disease-resistant shrimp and saline-tolerant tilapia, which are all intended to attain sustainable national aquaculture production and food security. It is our pleasure and honor to welcome Professor Dr. Rex Ferdinand Traifalgar. Rex, the floor is yours.
So you might have to share. So I would like to ask everyone if the slide would be seen by everyone.
Yes, clearly.
Okay.
We can hear you too. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and I would like to thank PAASE, Dr. Alvin Kulada, Dr. Sila Concepcion for inviting me and for letting me to present our collective work and findings from the University of Philippines Visayas Institute of Aquaculture, College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences. So today, I would like to talk our collective findings on the development and discovery of sustainable and renewable bioactive feed ingredients intended for a sustainable aquaculture. So I am Rex Ferdinand Traifalgar. I'm from the Institute of Aquaculture, College of Fisheries and Ocean Sciences, the University of Philippines, Visayas. So before I start, I would like to hindi gumagalaw. Okay. I would like to talk a bit about aquaculture, its importance. So in 2021, our population, the global population has reached about 7.89 billion, and it's still increasing because human reproduction is inevitable, and there are a lot of more to feed, and it is still linearly increasing. And to feed those population, in seafood consumption, it is about 158 million tons have been consumed in 2021. Half of which basically comes from aquaculture, 87.5 million tons. And capture fisheries contributes about almost half to about 90.3 million tons. But if you look at that trend, the capture fisheries is not that increasing, it is stagnating instead in terms of its production. The only thing that is increasing is aquaculture. And this is one of the fastest animal producing industry as food. Its annual growth rate is about 6.7% per year. However, since this is an economic activity, this is dependent on profitability, and its sustainability is linked to profit. Without profit, aquaculture basically would not exist because it is an economic activity. And aquaculture is highly dependent on feeds. For this production, at feed conversion of 2, it is expected that the global aquaculture needs about 175 million tons of feeds. So, aquaculture grows to satisfy the demand, but feeds are needed. In the Philippines, we are already 1.10 million people. The number of the total population about 110 million. And the black graph is the total fish production. The blue bar graph is our total consumption, yearly consumption. And the red graph, if you subtract the consumption from production, basically we are lacking 1.3 to 1.4 million tons of fish per year. And our capture fisheries is not that improving. The only thing that could satisfy these needs, since aquaculture is still expanding in the Philippines, and it contributes 41% of the total food fish, this is the only way to go. We have to expand aquaculture so that the marine environment could rest for a while and stock could recover and could be captured again for human food. But this is the scenario that we have. We lack fish. So aquaculture is basically dependent on feeds, but fish has a higher protein requirement than terrestrial animals. Your livestock requires only 12% protein. Your chicken requires about 10 to 15% in the diet. But aquaculture, fish as a carnivore, herbivore fish requires about 30% protein in the diet. And some carnivore requires 50% protein, like groupers, salmon, and until now, since before, aquaculture is basically dependent on fish meal. But there is a global consensus that fish meal is an inefficient way to be utilized as feed for other fish. So basically, this is a dilemma in aquaculture. Capturing fish, feeding to other fish. This is a less efficient way, but this is being practiced until now. And fish should be directly processed and used as human food, not that to be used as feed for other fish. So the first topic that I will be discussing will be our effort to develop alternative feed and basically alternative high protein source for aquaculture. Because again, fish requires a higher protein feed ingredient than any other terrestrial animals. So feed protein is the limit for the expansion and threatens the sustainability or economic viability of aquaculture. So, our project before with Plantex, funded by USAID, we come up with a concept that biotechnology could be a solution for the declining fish meal supply to aquaculture. Because, again, fish should not be used as feed. And soybean meal is very expensive. We are importing soybean meal and there are a lot of competition from other animal growing industries, including human consumption. There are a lot of competition for soybean as for its utility as a feed. So we come up with a concept with Plantex in our collaboration with Tarlac University to develop a biotechnological way to convert low protein, high carbohydrate waste, agricultural waste byproduct into something that would equal to soybean meal, fish meal that could be used as feed. So basically, low carbohydrate agricultural biomass could be converted by a solid state fermentation using a selected strain of microbes and fungi for it to increase its protein content. So, by the way, basically, this is the solution. You could grow a lot of high protein mycelia. Then, this material, the fermented sweet potato byproduct meal that have been developed by collaboration with Tarlac, Plantex, and UPB, sweet potato byproducts contains about 1.6% protein. But through the solid state fermentation that we have developed, we have been able to increase the protein content to about 30%. That is already equivalent to soybean meal. And fermentation does not require farming, waiting for 3 to 4 months, using a lot of water and a lot of pesticides. This one just needs a fermentation bath for 15 to 21 days. And you have a material that is equivalent to soybean. We found out that these materials are the equivalent in soybean in terms of protein content. And fermentation products from this material are able, the low molecular weight compound as a byproduct of the fermentation process with these microbes, are able to elicit an anti-vibrio or anti-bacterial effect that is also essential for the health of the organism that will be fed with this material. So the composition of this material, it has less heavy metal, and heavy metals were not found, or a very low amount that is below the detection limit. Then the digestibility of this material is from 71 to 98% for malnutrition tilapia, meaning this is highly acceptable, better than soybean. The amino acids, or the essential amino acid of this material is basically complete, meaning this is a good quality protein source for the animals. And the fatty acids are all short chain and medium chain fatty acids, as we know. These fatty acids, the short chain and medium chain fatty acids are able to be processed directly by the animals for direct ATP generation. The no triglyceride formation, it will be directly processed by the cell, and some of which are able to elicit antibacterial activity, the short chain fatty acids. And all of these are present in this fermented byproduct. So we tested incorporating the material to substitute soybean meal from 12.5 until 50% in the diet of tilapia, milkfish, and shrimp. We formulated a diet to replace soybean meal in the diet of this fish. Then we went out to milkfish. There's basically a growth promotion in terms of weight gain. So that is not affected. Weight gain is enhanced at the highest inclusion level. FCR is also basically improved. This shows that this diet is better than soybean or comparative to soybean in terms of promoting better growth in milkfish. Again, for tilapia, there is no significant decline in growth. The higher inclusion level we put, the better growth it would exceed it. Feed conversion is also enhanced, meaning this could substitute soybean for tilapia. For Pineus banane, we found growth promotion at the highest inclusion level. Surrender rate not affected, growth promotion is enhanced. Basically, because banane are able to tolerate plant material as their nutrient source. Unlike Renewable or our black tiger that is highly carnivore, we could hardly utilize plant-based protein sources. So we could limit the use of soybean now, import soybean, with this material that we have developed. We could limit the use of soybean. We could substitute 50% of that soybean in the diet of this poultry animal. So basically, the body composition in terms of protein, lipids of the three aquatic animals that are commonly found in the Philippines were not affected by the placement of soybean meal with this material. But this is interesting part because the omega-3 content of tilapia, milkfish, and shrimp were improved by substitution, because as we know, tilapia can synthesize their own EPA, DHA, or the long-chain omega fatty acids from linolenic or linoleic fatty acid sources. The short-chain fatty acids, they have the synthetic capability. Removing soybean from their diet would activate the capacity to synthesize their innate or their own EPA and DHA. And we found out that the omega-3 fatty acids of the fish receiving this diet were increased, indicating increase in quality of the meat of this material. So now, the diets could be now cheaper, we can substitute soybean, but another impact is that the quality of the cultured fish could be increased by utilizing this diet. The very important fatty acid, EPA and DHA, is improved, or the omega-3 fatty acids are improved in the animals given with this soybean alternative, the fermented sweet potato meal. We also found out that the growth promoting effect of this material in the cultured animal is due to the suppression of vibrio in the gut, and also the increase in the lactic acid bacteria. It promotes lactic acid bacteria because it could be a probiotic. And vibrios, which are really pathogenic to shrimp, were 9-fold decreased in those receiving the diet, indicating that the energy to be used to combat this infection in the gut could now be channeled for better growth. So adding this ingredient to the shrimp diet basically improves growth. This explains the better growth obtained in the diet in the shrimp receiving this diet. Now, another material that we have developed is a protein concentrate from Gracilaria, Gracilaria heteroplana. This is a common Gracilaria found in almost estuarine ecosystems, including abundant fish ponds. So, the red algae is known to be one of the marine plants that contains the highest amount of protein. And conversion of protein from ammonia is very fast in this marine plant. So we come up with a concept that this marine plant could be utilized to produce high protein feeds for aquaculture because they can easily utilize ammonia converted to protein in the environment. And then fast growing, we could cover in 2 days. This plant will be the future of feed protein source from marine in origin. This could be the new soybean. Gracilaria could be the new marine soybean. This could be used for aquaculture feed. So we found out that the digestibility of this material is about 90%. And the essential amino acid score, meaning this is a score that would tell us the quality of the protein to be used as feed. the essential amino acid score is usually compared on egg protein because that is the standard protein that could provide essential nutrition for an animal. So the essential amino acid index of this Basilaria protein is 99. It is really close to egg. Meaning all essential amino acids are present that are needed by the animals, and its chemical score is 64. And it is higher than 50 because there are some still very low amount of some amino acids. The limiting amino acid basically is arginine. So if this material will be used as feed, arginine should be provided in some other sources or by synthetic sources. Then we did a replacement trial of the protein in feeds of Venus monobore, a carnivore shrimp, ranging from 10.5 to 75% of the diet, replacement of soybean meal. Then we found out that replacement until 50%. Replacement until 50% is still okay, but not 75%. 75% replacement, growth depression is already manifesting in terms of weight gain, feed conversion, and protein efficiency ratio, meaning the ability of the animal to convert food material into body protein. It is already declining at 75. The feed conversion tells us the ability of the animal to convert a feed item or a food material into cellular flesh or cellular material, or let's say muscle protein. So this tells us that we could substitute soybean meal to about 50%. Why only 50%? Because this material still lacks arginine. But the work also tells us that if we use this one as a feed material, we have to provide arginine. Body composition are not different until 50, but at 75, those that are receiving 75% already has a declining protein content. And protein retention were also similar to the control until 50%, meaning ability to convert protein from feed into body protein is still okay until 50% replacement. And lipid retention, no significant, meaning lipid conversion is not affected. Overall, 50% of soybean meal protein could be replaced with Basilaria protein. We have a lot of this, but we don't have soybean. We could promote farmers to farm this one for the feed industry. Next is insect meal. Why insect meal? This is now a current trend in feed production. Everybody is going into insect meal, but no one is looking into native insects in the Philippines. Most of the work, even Filipino workers, are using the black soldier fly. So in our case, one of my thesis students worked on this Correctia cipalonica. It is a rice malt meal. Why rice malt meal? Rice malt meal, the substrate for its growth and larvae production is only rice hull and rice bran. These are in large quantities in the Philippines. And rice hull is a waste byproduct from our rice industry. And no one is utilizing that one. Oh, very few uses. Then, this is better than other larval meal, insect meal, because the materials that they are grown are free from bacterial contamination. Unlike the black soldier fly and other maggots that they are cultured in decaying material that violates the good aquaculture practices in terms of feed production. They may carry salmonella, they may carry other pathogens that could infect the fish and transfer that to the consumers. We're looking for an insect meal that is safe and will be acceptable in the development or the practice of good aquaculture system. So this is one of the work that we have done. So the amino acid profile, we analyzed this one at UPV, and it is almost complete except of tryptophan. And the limiting amino acid is leucine, and also value. There are two limiting amino acids. Their value, the chemical score is only 26, very low. Right? Making this diet, you could add more material to supply the needed protein and arginine. Then the essential amino acid score, again, this is based on the standard protein of egg protein to 60%. It is still okay because it is about 50%. Then we conducted a replacement trial from 25% of fish meal being substituted with this meal until 100%. The treatment was conducted in 60 days and growth of the animal was determined. So the research showed that weight gain is not affected until 75% replacement. But there is a great proportion of 25%. So a combination of 25% rice milk meal plus fish meal promoted growth. But 75% replacement of fish meal has no difference with the control. So if you want growth promotion, use 25%. If you want really a cheap feed, use 75%. So this is the finding of this work. Specific growth rate followed the same trend. Feed intake, basically it is decreased at the 75 to 100, but it does not affect on growth. Feed conversion is similar in all the treatment. And protein retention efficiency, or PR, is actually okay until 75%. Lipid retention is also until 75%, and protein efficiency ratio is also until 75%, meaning the protein, the ability of the animal to deposit feed protein as body protein is not affected until 75% replacement of the diet, but not 100%. Not 100% because it lacks some essential amino acids. But 75% replacement is really a big difference in terms of economics when making feeds for aquaculture. So rice milk meal can replace fish meal up to 75% without affecting the overall growth performance of the animals, and 22% to promote growth in tilapia. Next topic, I would like to talk about immunostimulation and bioactive carbohydrates as feed additive for aquaculture. There are only two major issues affecting the economic viability of aquaculture: disease and growth. And growth is affected by feed conversion, by the environmental condition, but the major issue is diseases. For shrimp aquaculture in the Philippines, it is VBR6 from VB infection and white spot syndrome virus infection. White spot syndrome virus infection is already 20 years in the country, and yet it is still affecting negatively the production, and it's still a threat to the sustainability of shrimp and crab industry in the country. So basically, farmers are needing disease-resistant animal and fast-growing animal. It is highly desired because these two indices are important in the economic viability of aquaculture. So, bioactive feed additives are natural organic compounds that can influence the physiological processes that would result to improvement and growth in overall performance of the animals. So, in collaboration with James Beck Animal Pharmaceutical Company in Australia, we tested for sulfated pucans from the Burbulia Pocatorum seaweeds in Tasmania. Then we incorporated that one in the diet of shrimp to make optimum dose at dose ranging from 500 milligram per kilogram diet until 4 grams per kilogram diet to know the optimum dose. So we found out that there is a growth promotion effect of 2,000 at 2 grams per kilogram dietary inclusion, or 0.2%. Significant increase in growth was noted in this treatment. When the animals were challenged by the two serious pathogens affecting shrimp, 80% improvement, 80% survival was attained in the best inclusion level at 0.2% dietary inclusion or 2,000 milligram per kilogram diet. The rest of the treatment succumbed to infection and they died. So 80% improvement against the dreaded white spot syndrome virus infection. For the EMS or early mortality syndrome Vibrio caused by Vibrio paralyticus that affects farming of shrimp in the Southeast Asia, including China region. This is really a devastating disease. The Vibrio paralyticus that caused EMS. We found a protection that is 90% better. So we found that 2 milligram, 2,000 milligram per kilogram is optimum to elicit a 90% survival. But 0.12% at 4 grams, it elicited about 80% survival. The best is still 0.2 because it could protect the shrimp from white spot syndrome virus at the same time with Vibrio paralyticus. So 2 major pathogens of aquaculture could be protected from infecting the shrimp or could be prevented from infecting the shrimp by just supplementing their diet with this program from Australian seaweeds. We did also field testing to confirm the effect of our findings in the laboratory. So we tested in a farm in Cebu, and we found out that we harvested 30 tons in the treated group as compared to the control that is only 14. So almost double. Because in promoted growth, it prevents infection, survival is higher, and the work better. So we confirmed from lab scale testing until actual field trial. This Fukudan. The problem is most Filipino farmers would not adapt because of the price. They would not, the price is not 2 pesos per gram, and it is not acceptable in terms of economic viability in Philippine aquaculture. I have no idea why, but so this company is marketing this product in Indonesia, but Indonesians are willing and has helped them in their production. But in the Philippines, it was not marketed because of that issue. Next, we also developed Ulvan from Bioactive. Bioactive is a commonly found bee seaweeds in almost coastal environment in the Philippines. Very low utility or almost no utility for food and for animal feed, nothing. One company, Ecolite, is collecting this one and processing as feed additive. And we collaborated with that company for a common goal to develop a bioactive feed additive from Ulvan. So we developed Ulvan. We extracted Ulvan with organic extraction from Ulva, then semi-purified only because purified Ulvan is very expensive for animal grade. So we found out that the spectra is similar to Ulvan that is published and very similar to Ulvan from Ulbalactuca. We incorporated in test value from 0 to 1,000 milligram per kilogram our Philippine developed Ulvan. Ulvan, by the way, is a sulfated uronic acid polysaccharide in brown seaweed. It is another sulfated polysaccharide from green seaweeds. Fukudan is from brown seaweed, while this one is from green seaweed. While for red seaweed, it is galactine sulfate. Pucan sulfate is for brown seaweed, and this one I forgot the sugar of Ulvan. So we incorporated in the diet. Research showed that in tilapia, significant increase in weight could be observed at 50 milligram inclusion. Increasing the inclusion level would no longer promote better, would not no longer add additional growth to tilapia. So by PAASE, but not in 10 grams, it has already significant effect on survival. But weight gain at 15 milligram is already manifesting its effect. Feed conversion ratio is significantly better in the treated groups at 50 milligram per kilogram as the optimum dose. We look at the gene transcription. We found out that PCDIN2 is depressed in the treated group, but PCDIN3, these are antibacterial proteins of immune reaction of tilapia to the given dietary supplement. PCDIN3 transcription is twofold. PCDIN4 is almost 30% enhanced. C-type lysozyme, which is active for gram-positive infecting bacteria, is also 40% enhanced. Interleukin 1B is also threefold enhanced. So this gives us a proof that this urban from our conceiving could already protect or effective in enhancing the immunity of tilapia. We conducted an exposure challenge test of the tilapia against the common pathogen that affects tilapia farming in Paal, in Laguna Lake, and in Visayas, Pheromonas hydrophila, potent disease-causing bacteria of tilapia. We found out about 75% enhancement in survival as compared to the control, the red one, that is 0. So it protected the tilapia against a potent pathogen at an inclusion level of 50 milligram per kilogram. We look at its effect on mud crab. Mud crab is the fastest growing crustacea in the world. It could grow from 5 grams to 500 grams in 131 days. This is found in the Philippines. This is one of the biggest. It has a high export market value, but it is affected by white spot syndrome virus when cultured in the aquatic ecosystem. It is a high value animal, but the risk of farming is also very high. So we tested urban concentration of 500 until 2,000 milligram per kilogram feed. And we tested at a dose of 0, 3 every 3 days. So we conducted a dose frequency analysis optimization of urban in the diet. So these are the setup, and the tests were done for 30 days in a completely randomized design. We found out that in terms of growth in concentration, the 2,000 and 1,000 promoted growth of the mud crab. The feed conversion will also improve, or the ability to convert feed to body mass is also optimum at 1,000 milligram per kilogram supplementation level. Then immune response, total lymphocyte count, respiratory burst activity, and pinoxidase, a major immune response of crustacean, are all activated and enhanced in the optimum dosage of the urban in mud crab. Then when the animals were challenged with the white spot syndrome virus infection, it appears that the 1,000 milligram per kilogram is the optimum to protect the animal from the infection. So it protects also mud crab from WSSB. For the frequency, we found out that giving every 3 days is optimum for growth, for immune responses, and resistance against white spot syndrome virus. Every 3 days at 0.2 at 2,000 milligram per kilogram feed delivered every 3 days is enough to elicit an immune protection to protect mud crab against white spot syndrome virus infection. So we also found out that all of the genes related to immunity, HSP70, anti-lipopolysaccharide factor. These are all antiviral genes in crustacean. Crustine, propionate oxidase gene, all of these antibacterial and immune and antiviral proteins, the genes for these proteins are all enhanced in mud crab fed with this supplement, thus explaining their survival against the white spot syndrome virus infection. So this is the optimum dose, 1,000 mg per kilogram, given every 3 days. Another compound that we tested in collaboration with the European company is peptidoglycan. At 2,000 grams per 2%, we have shown that peptidoglycan is implementation to promote efficient growth, better control, and this growth is related to increase in muscle size, hyperplasia, or hypertrophy of muscle. So this compound has a hypertrophic effect on muscles of the peneus monodontor by promoting growth of this animal. And we also found out that animals receiving this supplement has an increased digestive process activity, digestive amylase activity, and overall, we tested the digestibility of feeds. It is increased in the animal receiving the peptidoglycan diet. And we found out a 9-fold increase in survival against white spot syndrome virus in Peneus monodon. Peneus monodon is also a highly prized commodity in the Philippines, and its aquaculture is being challenged by the disease known as white spot syndrome virus. But giving peptidoglycan, we could increase the survival until 9-fold. Another polysaccharide that we have tested is chitin. Chitin is a byproduct of our crab meat picking industry. A lot of waste from our exporting companies involved in crab meat processing and exporting. And these shell waste are destroyed, burned, or used as fertilizer. But production of chitin from the shell is feasible. So chitin is a polymer of glucosamine. Glucosamine is the precursor of shell of crustacean. And crustacean utilizes protein, digest amino acids, and use that amino acid to be used as a component to make glucosamine to be formed a shell of crustacean. Crustacean needs to shed off shells in order to grow. And this is a very energy wasting process. Some of the protein are used for this. So what we did is that we incorporate chitin at 0, 0.5, and 1% to the diet of Peneus baname, and we look at if we can decrease the optimum protein requirement of this shrimp. Because baname is basically requiring 32% protein in the feed. But if we add chitin, would it decrease and there will be no effect on growth? We found out that adding chitin at about 0.5 to 1.5% to 0.5% to 1% of the diet could decrease the requirement for protein of baname from 32 to 27. We could now decrease the protein in the diet. Economically, it could lower the cost by just adding chitin. Because the chitin will be used as material for shell development, the other proteins will be used for muscle growth. So we could decrease the protein requirement of shrimp by adding 0.5% chitin. This is a significant reduction in feed cost if our feed manufacturer would apply this one. And then another ultra-based product in collaboration with the trading room that we developed are the raw Ulba meal additive. We incorporated the Ulba meal additive. This is not processed Ulba, this is dried, powdered, and semi-processed Ulba material, not Ulba, the whole plant. So we incorporated at 0.5% until 10% of the diet in They found out in tilapia, the survival is not affected, but the growth is 67% enhanced at 0.5% in the diet. Look, the weight gain is enhanced to about 67% by addition of ULPA supplement. This is the visual presentation of the control in the treated group. Feed conversion is 30% enhanced in tilapia. Total bacterial count is decreased in the treated group. Lactic acid bacteria in the gut is 30% enhanced in the treated group, thereby explaining the efficient growth observed in the treated group. Ghrelin is a stomach-produced growth promoting hormone. It is twofold enhanced in the treated group. While IGF-1, a liver-produced growth promoting hormone, is about 40% enhanced in the treated group, thereby explaining the growth promoting effect of this supplement. Myostatin, a negative regulator of growth, is depressed in the treated group, thereby explaining the high growth of the tilapia. Next, its effect on shrimp was also evaluated. The survival was not affected, but the growth in shrimp is 80% enhanced in the treated group receiving the 0.5% in the diet. This is the visual representation of the treated group in the control. Feed conversion is 53% increased. Total bacterial count in the gut is about 9-fold decreased in the treated group. Lactic acid bacteria count similarly is about 10-fold increased. Alpha-actin, a component of muscle growth, is about 2-fold enhanced in the treated group, while myosin heavy chain, another component of the muscle of shrimp, is about 2-fold increased. An immune genes, crustin, is also 2-fold enhanced. Pinidin, antibacterial protein in shrimp, is also about 3-fold enhanced. All of these are effect of supplementing the shrimp diet with Ulpa meal that is now Philippine produced by trading room. They are marketing this one. Another project that we have been into is utilization of a material in coconut oil that is that contains a lot of medium chain fatty acid. Basically, non-weak fatty acid is medium chain. It does not undergo a systematic processing in the liver because it is before it is distributed to the cell in tissues of the animal. And lauric acid has a natural antibacterial effect. Similarly, it has also a natural immunosuppressive against inflammation. We suspect that coconut has a lot of potential to be used as energy source and as a source of antibacterial effect that could promote growth in aquatic animals, because antibiotics addition in fields has a growth promoting effect. Lauric acid has a mild antibiotic effect, and it has even been tested in aquatic animals. So we tested 2.5% coconut medium chain fatty acid and 5% against a control in experimental group of tilapia. Then we found out that significant increase in weight gain in those receiving the 0.5% coconut medium chain fatty acids as a supplement. 50% coconut medium chain fatty acid, 50% soybean oil. We found out almost 55% growth enhancement, 26% enhancement in feed conversion in a 5% cocoa oil inclusion level. That is 50% with soybean oil, because we cannot eliminate soybean oil in the diet of tilapia. So DHA and EPA was also improved in the 5% coconut oil inclusion level in tilapia. Tilapia have been notoriously have been known to have a lot of omega-6. That's why a lot of complain about tilapia that it is bad for the health, and there's a lot of because these omega-6 fatty acids are coming from the soybean oil, the linoleic and linoleic fatty acids. But decreasing these fatty acids by adding coconut oil, the material that could be processed by the fish to form arachidonic and to be deposited as omega-6 could be decreased. But coconut oil could be processed as an energy source of the fish, thereby promoting better growth, preventing bacterial infection in the gut, and of course, limiting tilapia with soybean oil has activated its capacity to synthesize its own omega-3 fatty acids because tilapia and freshwater fish are known to synthesize long-chain UPAs by using short-chain PUFA as a precursor. They have the natural capability to biosynthesize EPA and DHA. That's why tilapia could be used as a value factory of EPA and DHA if you just know how to manipulate it. Decreasing the soybean oil, it has an effect of promoting synthesis of the EPA and DHA in tilapia, thereby improving the quality of meat of tilapia. And we found out it is high in those receiving the coconut oil supplemented diet, a certain specific inclusion level. We also look at the genes involved in the synthesis of EPA and DHA. The gene elongase, desaturase, are all significantly enhanced in those receiving the cocoa oil because these are the genes responsible for conversion of short-chain PUFA into long-chain UPA in the form of EPA and DHA. And these are all activated in tilapia receiving less soybean oil but with coconut oil. IGF-1 gene was also enhanced because IGF-1 gene have been known to be activated in the presence of short-chain and medium-chain fatty acids in the bloodstream. So IGF-1 gene is the direct growth promoting hormone in vertebrates, including fish. All of these are activated or enhanced by addition of the cocoa oil. So another product to lower the fish meal inclusion we tested is the hydrolysate from our industry byproduct in Zamboanga, from squid byproduct, in the squid industry byproduct. The student developed a hydrolyzing activity for this one to produce squid industry byproduct hydrolysate. So these are all numbers. It's so complicated. This is a two-factor experiment. We compared low fish meal diet added with hydrolysate to those a pure fish meal diet containing 22% fish meal. We compared that one to 10 and 5 in no fish meal diet, but with hydrolysate at 0.5 and 1%. Basically, the experiment conducted what combination of hydrolysate and fish meal in low fish meal level that could equal to the growth performance of the animals being fed with 22% fish meal in the diet. We dropped the fish meal level in the diet until 0, plus hydrolysate. That is the objective of the study. Then diets were made, experiment was conducted, and we found out that even at 0% fish meal, as long as there is 1% hydrolysate, it is equal with that of the control group, which is fed with 22% fish meal. We can eliminate now fish meal in the monodone diet by providing only plant-based protein, soybean meal, fermented copra meal, any plant-based protein plus squid hydrolysate. You could eliminate the use of fish meal. Because currently, fish meal is threatening the sustainability of Philippine aquaculture because it is imported. In the Philippines, we don't have much fish meal because everything is eaten. There's no such thing as fish meal in the Philippines. Everything are processed, either mango or fermented fish. So basically, the industry is importing a lot of fish meal from other countries. But our findings recently shows that we could completely eliminate fish meal in the diet of Pineus monodon. So, SGR also the same at that level. And palatability is also improved, even though it is containing 0% fish meal, but its palatability is comparable to that of the control. Digestibility activities are also enhanced in 0% fish meal with hydrolysis of 1%. That it explains the better growth performance of the shrimp in this treatment. So body composition are not that different with the control, indicating no significant effect on body composition. But we also look at the muscle growth related genes as linked to the inclusion of hydrolysate to 0% fish meal in the diet. We found out that GLUT1, a major gene involved in the transport of glucose from the blood to the tissue muscle of shrimp, it is significantly enhanced in a 0 to 1% diet. And myosin heavy chain is also increased in the 10%, and also in the zero fish meal with 1% hydrolysate. Also, TOR, or target of dopamine gene, this is a growth promoting gene, or transcription factor involved in the growth promotion of muscles. So it is enhanced in the because hydrolyzed amino acid have been known to activate the transcription mechanism to promote muscle growth in other vertebrates. Similarly, we found the same in shrimp. So for ABP1, another transcription factor protein involved in muscle synthesis, alpha-actin, all of these are activated in 0% fish meal with 1% hydrolysate, indicating that we could give up fish meal in shrimp diet as long as we provide plant protein and 1% hydrolysate, and also as long as the essential amino acids of the animals are provided. The only problem with plant protein is that if the material is not digestible, the amino acids are imbalanced, this would mess up the physiological processes of the animal, leading to poor growth, higher feed conversion, and less profit. I would like to still some data. So muscle metric measurements coincides with the gene related to muscle growth. So basically, 1% hydrolysate in a plant protein-based diet could equal to the shrimp growth that the shrimp are fed with 22% or full fish meal based diet. So I would like to also to emphasize that what we are currently experiencing in the Philippines, fish kills, this could be traced all to inefficient diet. If the FCR, basically our milk fish ranges now from 2.5 to almost 3, meaning the feed conversion ratio is only 1/3, meaning if you give the milk fish 1 cup 3 times, it would only convert the feed into body to about 1 ton. So 2 tons are wasted as waste in the environment. So feed conversion is very important aspect in aquaculture. And if we look at the open sea culture now of milkfish, the feed conversion is really bad. For example, one case could harvest 30 tons of milkfish. And you multiply the feed that has been given, it's about 90 tons. And 60 tons were lost as waste in the environment. Really. So I think there's future in aquaculture as long as it is managed and scientific findings and technologies are applied for it to adapt in the changing economic structure of the society as well as to the changing climate. So I think that ends my talk and hope that it is that it will be helpful. And for those who are not aquaculturists, it provides some insights on what to do in aquaculture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Rex. I'd like to congratulate you. You're the top scientist in UP Visayas, and we're very proud of you. And I
Thank you.
appreciate the breadth and the depth of your research. And I appreciate it because of my interest and specialization in biochemistry and also in immunology, which I share with Dr. Vicky Lag. So, Rex, this is an innovation series, and so we would like to know. I would like to know what product you think would be most sustainable or would really be moved towards development. Among those that you presented today, it's just so much potential for improving our culture as part of our growing blue economy. It's a priority in the country and in the university. And we would have to think about the sustainability of your proposed product. And that's a general question. And my specific questions, and there are numerous, but I will only ask two. One is, in the case of the fish, you would like to increase the weight. Feed conversion is weight of the meal in relation to the weight gain of the fish. Now, how much of that protein is in the flesh, in the muscle, versus in scales, which we know in tilapia is quite substantial, or in the case of other fish, in the case of the crustaceans, the shell is mostly the prawns, the carbohydrate. But sometimes we eat the scales or the skin of the milkfish, but we can't do it for the tilapia. So how much of the protein goes to keratin and collagen, etc.? So that's my first question. First specific question. The second specific question is about immunity. So yes, it's an approach to fighting bacteria and other infections to just give them the pure or semi-pure reverse of these infections like fucoidan. And I congratulate you for being able to isolate, purify fucoidan, and maybe fucosantin as well, which are high-value products that we're interested in from sargassum. But then, at some point, will these aquaculture fish, will they develop some resistance to, will there be a point where the infectious agents will develop resistance to your treatment? Third question, I might as well ask a question of academician Professor Emeritus Sean Raimundo. Would you look at toxic components of your feeds before in your preparation? Okay, so these are just three questions. There are many more, but at some point I will yield the floor to Professor Alvin, and then afterwards to the whole audience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Giselle, and that's very interesting questions. For the first question, how much protein are being channeled for skin development and scales? That's really a challenging question. Because it differs for almost all fish species because of their skin and scale component and structure. And there's no generic answer for that. And basically, I don't have a complete answer for how much really protein are invested for skin and muscle. That is still a black box, I think, for most fish. And for crustacean, it's about 30% for the shell because the glucosamine is sometimes being produced from degradation of amino acids to donate the amine. And for fish, but there's some 1 to 3%, but that is not a generic data because it may vary in terms of conditions, environmental condition, and species. There's really no answer for the fish. And for the immunity, the sulfated polysaccharide are known as innate immunity activators. In invertebrates, they are basically known to bind to the scavenger receptors. And it may appear that there is no specific tolerance or immunity for this compound because in the gut there are some receptors, immune cells that bears these macrophage scavenger receptors and some other unknown receptors that are activated by sulfated polysaccharide. So sulfated polysaccharides may act like a random lock and key activator of the innate immunity. The only issue is that the evolution of the pathogen to infect the host. So it is a continuous process of manipulation between the researcher, the industry, and the evolution of the pathogen. Because there are some pathogen that hides inside the immune cells that it could no longer be acted upon by the humoral innate immunity protein. At the same time, it could not be acted by the specific antibody circulating in the bloodstream. Because it's like malaria. It is inside the cell. There are some vibrio who behaves like that. And these sulfated polysaccharides are the primary immune response activators. Because, for example, white spot syndrome virus, it could kill the shrimp within 3 to 5 days. There is not enough time for the animal to develop the specific immunity. But if it is a preventive supplement given when the animal is taken from the hatchery, it has somehow a mechanism to prevent infection when they are exposed in the production system in the ponds. Because the pond system and the hatchery system is a two different environment. Similar is true with milkfish or other fish, that their immunity is basically influenced by the stress factors when they are away from the confined hatchery that everything is provided. Good water, temperature is controlled, but if they are in the field, they could be exposed to stressors, and their immunity could decline. And these sulfated polysaccharides have been tested to specifically enhance their immunity prior that they are exposed to the insults of nature when they are away from the or when they are cultured in the field. So basically, as of now, we have not yet encountered immunotolerance when we are using immunostimulant. And evolution of immunotolerance is also inhibited because we found fish within 3 to 4 months of culture. Once they reach the maximum size, they're harvested. They're not bred again. So there's no way for them to transmit any tolerance or any resistance with these immunostimulants that have been given to them. For the third question, most of these findings I have shown is in collaboration with private companies. the fermented sweet potato, this is with Quintex, and I think they are doing their production plan for this in collaboration with some other partners that are involved in mass production. And for the Ulba products, this is a cradle project. It is linked to a company that is already exporting to Europe for Ulba products. Because the essence of this Ulba project was that she's asking, the CEO is asking, why Europe is importing a lot of Ulba from me? What are they doing in Europe? Then you look at the information, it is being processed for biodegradable plastics. At the same time, it is used as a salmon feed additive. So what she said, what can we do for our own fish industry? That's why we partner, and she's now marketing the Ulba-based product. And I think that company is also formed with the influence of Dr. Trono and Dr. Montaño, the company that I'm working with Ulba. Now,
Thank you, Rex. Yeah, Rex. So thorough. When you answer the questions, I am really very happy and satisfied. I also had a question about protein going to the bone, the fish bone, or aside from the scales. And Jerry Guro asked that question, so I'm asking it now as well. I'm happy that Mikey, Roleda, and Gil Jacinto were here, but I think they've gone, so they're from MSI. And I think, I was just reading the chat box, and Al Serafika already asked about your implementation plan and your capitalization and the business plan. And I think in some indirect way, you just answered it. So at this point, I would like to turn over the floor to Alvin. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, ma'am.
Very thorough.
Okay, so thank you again, Professor Giselle. Thank you very much. Very interesting and really novel ideas, no, on looking at alternative feedstocks for our aquaculture. Thank you very much, Professor Traifalgar. Rex, I had an opportunity to lead also a project which we developed, Lab, algal mat, no, as an aqua feed for milkfish. This was funded by Picard. But anyway, my question is, many of this alternative feedstock for aqua feed, so as an aqua feed, would contain some nutritional ingredients, so how do you deactivate it? How do you deal with this contents in that material? How do you manage that, this nutritional contents that is present in this feedstock? So we had a problem like analyzing the algal mat. What makes it really a very good feed for milkfish? Lumalaki siya, parang ganon, but it's not so much known like nutritional of algal mat, or and yet lumalaki yung fish. But certainly there are, what we have actually found out is meron nga mga anti-nutritional content. So how do you deal with this, Rex?
Actually, sir, that is so complex. The answer is so complex because if you see anti-nutritional factors, this is well-defined nutrients but in aquaculture, there are only basic anti-nutritional factors that are being analyzed. Aflatoxin, because it could be transferred, is an issue for consumer. Aflatoxins, mycotoxins, then heavy metals. That is the commonly assessed. But for a new material to be incorporated as feeds, it should be tested. If the growth performance relative to control is depressed, then it contains something. And if other analysis is conducted, like essential amino acids, have been analyzed that it is complete, because sometimes it may be not due to other nutrient factors, it is just to imbalance amino acids. Sometimes it is due to a lack of vitamins. Sometimes, so that's why in doing nutritional research, it should always be in link with a nutritionist. Because for every fish species, unlike cattle, ducks, and pigs, they're all the same almost, their biology. It's well known. But in fish, we have herbivore, we have carnivore, we have no stomach, there is no fish with large intestine. All of them behaves differently. For example, the fish oil that is oxidized. For terrestrial vertebrates, it is really toxic. That's why they don't use oxidized oil for their feeds. My student tested oxidized oil for shrimp, no effect. So it's anti-nutrients to one species, no effect to another species. So it should be tested. For example, PECM, fermented capramil. In our study at UPD with UPLB, we could incorporate in the diet until 50% replacement of soybean in the diet of tilapia. The fish tolerates it well, but for livestock, it only tolerates 1 gram. They cannot tolerate that one because fish are basically benthic. Some of them are benthic feeder. They could tolerate that bulok na, they could still manage. And it is not anti-nutrient to them.
Okay. Yes.
So, but not to, so actually it's a complex. It
Yeah.
needs to be tested.
Thank you, thank you. Teresa mentioned that this anti-nutritional factors. Yeah, there's a question, Giselle, that I'd like to read on the chat box from Therese. Good morning, Podok. I'd like to ask if do you plan to study on the carbon emission of your feeds or products in the future?
Carbon emission?
Carbon emission. Yeah, it's on the chat box if you
that particular area is I'm not really trained for that. But carbon emission could be a good subject in the processing plant. Those that wanted to mass produce for industrial production of the material. But I would like to share to the group that as long as your feed conversion is low, meaning all carbons are deposited as body weight, so there is no losses in the environment. But if your feed conversion is 3, meaning 1/3 of your feeds are wasted, then you get a lot of carbon in your environment. So I'll go to conversion of carbon from feeds into biomass that to be eaten. That is a less carbon wastage, I think. But for industrial CO2 production, I would refer that one to engineers and to.
So, Alvin.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
In relation to that, so now we're looking at what are the emissions, what are the excretions. So in the water, I also wanted to ask Rex as a long list of what about the urea? What about the excretion products that could, as we know, with chemical feeds or other kinds of feeds, fish meal feeds, could at some point inhibit growth. So it's understood that there would be a circulation, mechanism or process that is in place. So how does it compare with what's excreted using the traditional fish meals?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, before they have an argument that plant-based protein has a lot of phytic acid that are produced to the environment. But basically, a new study has found out that fish meal has more. Because fish meal are mixed up of bones with a lot of phosphorus that are not absorbable. So it's just the same, but we just need a strong policy about feed conversion. I would like to share in Europe, in their salmon, the feed conversion ratio policy is 1. If your farm will not produce 1, you're closed. So feed conversion of 1, meaning no waste to the environment. And in the Philippines, I proposed 1.25 and everybody was angry.
So it's great, Rex. You're benchmarking with salmon production abroad because that's really the major benchmark. It's proliferating all over the world, and we have our supply of salmon here as well. So you seem to also have already a basis for policy. So I think you should pursue this because of your research on the ground. Then you should actually also start to formulate policy. And your your leaders in UPV now are social scientists, and you have access to lawyers as well who can help you with this. And well, I was in Congress last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, to present the work of NRCP researchers in Mindanao, and they had done it also for Visayas some time back. And well, it's always about making the research on the ground a basis for local policy or national policy. So are you an NRCP researcher as well, Rex? Have you received support from the NRCP?
As of now, ma'am, I'm busy with PCAR.
Okay,
a lot of issues because UP is a national university. We are involved in issues in national level like building hatchery in Davao, disease occurrence in Samar, eel industry in Samar. So we're developing a lot of solutions for practical solutions, scientific solutions to resolve current issues in the industry.
So Rex and other innovators who are listening today, we're really going to announce an innovation competition this year. And we should receive coaching from the universities, Al, and others in NGOs or in startups on how to participate in this nationwide competition that will be announced soon. And among those speakers that I have listened to in this series, I think, Rex, if you can package it well and clearly communicate the unmet need and what it is that you can produce on a large scale, scaled up, then maybe you should participate in the competition. Okay, so I also wanted to, really alert you together with Coke Montaño. We've been wanting to go to Bantayan Island off Cebu because it is really the place where you will have all of these chitin shells. And, we know that we're exporting a lot of the crabs, the alimasag to the United States.
Yes, ma'am.
Yung blue crab na yun, yung mga iba alimasag lang natin yan.
Alimasag.
Dumping site nila yan. So you know what? I talked to Chancellor Leo Malgar, and that LGU in Bantayan Island is one of their target LGUs for assistance. And so maybe we could put together the expertise. Actually, I had coached UP Cebu in an EIDR program proposal. Okay, we coached the scientists there together with Coke Sana and Lilibeth Salvador Reyes of MSI to work on this natural resource, rich natural untapped resource in Bantayan Island. So maybe you should put a group together, and Chancellor Leo promised to bring me to Bantayan Island next time.
May I speak, ma'am? Because the owner of the company, the CEO of the trading room that I'm working with UNBA is a friend of Dr. Cook. And that company is also looking for crab shells because it is a very important material for laying, for layers, chicken layers, for eggs.
Yes.
So it's just been linking one group to another group to the industry. Because the crab shell may have a lot of carotenoids that are also needed for the egg, calcium, and
that's why this forum is really about bringing people together, Alvin, and if we can work with DLSU, why not, diba? To facilitate things. Now, in relation to this, I also wanted to ask earlier, Dr. National Scientist Luli Cruz and I, early on, we were exploring the use of feathers, chicken feathers, as a good source of amino acids. Amino acid profile is really good, just like your amino acid profiles of your bio fish meals.
Yeah, ma'am, the issue is digestibility. You should develop an efficient digesting
Yes,
carbon-less, chemical-less digestion system
yeah. So we will
for
just
feeder meal.
hydrolysates. Of course, we were
Yeah,
already
the
thinking
hydrolysis.
about that naman for glucosamine hydrochloride to become a chitosan, no? Or saccharide. Yung mga ganyan, but this is an unexplored or insufficiently unexplored
No, resources.
area of research. Yon, so, pero, and then at some point, syempre yung spirulina rin, no? I've seen your publications, you've also worked on spirulina. And I just wanted to say that we get our food grade spirulina, feed grade spirulina from China. They are imported here in kilos, in sako loads, no? So they can be purchased. So I don't know if spirulina and the other microalgae and the macroalgae would also be viable as an alternative source of feeds. So, Alvin, more questions from your own experience?
Yes, do we have I'm looking at the chat box. I think there are not additional questions. Anyway, I think Rex has covered extensively many of the aspects of his work and the questions that you, Giselle, has already asked. And of course, my interest was really more on the anti-nutritional factors, which Vic Ilag also did mention in the chat box that you can deal with this with what's that, Vic?
Fermentation.
Yeah, fermentation. Thank you, Vic. Yeah, I just read.
I
But here, Al is raising his hand. Maybe
For
we can
Al,
ask
this
Al.
is very important, Al. I just wanted to say, kasi connected,
Go ahead.
the fertilizer of Agrigaya, of Kaohsiung, is also fermented veggies. Kaya fermentation as a process for preparing fertilizers and feeds, it's really, really important. Okay?
Ma'am Giselle, si Sir Alvin muna kasi concern niya on Actually, Sir Alvin, I was there when you reported your lab. It's 50%
I see. Okay,
ash.
thank
I
you.
am the one, because hindi pa kita ginala.
Yeah. I know, I remember.
I
So
am the
maybe
one
we
that
can.
that one. You have more ash than your protein.
Yeah.
But the problem
Right.
with that is, RJ, they have negatively charged sulfated polysaccharide on their surface. So when ions in seawater are present and you precipitate, it binds with it. Kaya mataas ang ash. But with protein concentrate or lab may have a very good omega-3 fatty acids. So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
should not go into lab per se, but you have to go into processed lab as a
Okay.
source of sustainable omega-3 fatty acid for human or for animal use.
Yeah. A good opportunity for us, hopefully, to work together. So let's
Communicate with the
more.
farmers, develop a system to extract omega-3 from lab because it is sustainable, it is renewable. If you
Yeah.
have omega-3, I can test.
Yeah, that's good, Rex, because we have the technology now. So I'll contact you and let's work something on the ground. Okay.
When I was my undergrad, that is my dream because that's the only sustainable production system. It's
Yes.
okay, but it's in pan.
Okay.
So it is,
Let me call so the Rex, I think Al Serafica, corresponding member Al Serafica, is raising his hand. And later on, Gladys also, Dr. Gladys Completo, our PAASE president. Al, go ahead, Al.
Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, Rex. Quick question lang because I have not seen exactly your activities out of UP Visayas when we were there in Iloilo 3 months ago. So I'm a little bit concerned about how I just contacted Ray of UPVTTBDO because I was chatting with your chancellor and we're crafting the National Food Innovation Conference for Iloilo this coming year. And we're looking at food innovations, food processes, and
Yes. Yes.
science. My key question for your innovations that you presented, which are quite numerous, is
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thanks, sir. Okay. Okay.
products in Europe as well as in the Philippines and in if you have encountered approvals in Australia, it would be very good to share it to the rest of the UP and the Philippine community so that they can advance. Ang dami nating technology sa UP. You mentioned it already, PECM, Soldier Fly in Cebu. All of those would need to be compliant market. So I think I'm wanting to convene siguro an aquatics feeds subgroup within the UP Tech Transfer to make sure that we are exchanging notes. But what is your experience in terms of compliance to regulatory? Yung mga yan, yung mga mga potential anti-nutrient ingredients, mga aflatoxin. So clearly we need to be aware of those. But thank you definitely for presenting it today. Salamat.
Yes, Dr. Gonzalo. I'm little bit busy, or I'm little bit busy, or was not invited. I don't know. The thing is, most of these technologies I presented, this is already in partner with an existing companies, and there are some issues. So we conducted travel for Playtex with USAID. Actually, these products are already have takers. They are now trying to sell this one. And for the Fukoidan, it's an Australian company who talked to me that we test, something like that. So basically, in my case, I usually but some other things were still experimental because it was an MS or PhD student work, and it is still being subjected for patent. And some of these are still being applied. But that's a good thing. I think we have to follow the USAID format that for every research activity there is already a partner or a link industry. So that when it is finished, there's already an adapter.
Thank you, Rex. I think Al, you should also ask Vic Ilag, because the connect here is Vic Ilag with Plentex. Actually, in PAASE, we plan to run a MicroMaster series for industry and all for university. And one of our first topics is going to be on botanical drugs or these types of products. And we could not find a speaker on regulatory. We were asking DTI, USEC, FITA for a speaker because they're now connected with Europe, with the foreign countries for export. Walang mahanap. And then Joey Ochavi as well, walang mahanap. So we have put that on hold now. But maybe Al, you could lead this effort on MicroMasters. It was going to be done with Unilab. Anyway, we have naman the guidelines from the US, from Australia, from Europe. Yun yung major countries. And then now we should also look at Japan. Okay, so I think that's very important. Regulatory is always what Al reminds us about for us to be able to export. No, so that's very important. Then Al, just so you know, we agree with you that UP Cebu needs more collaborations because kulang pa talaga ng expertise in UP Cebu for biology and chemistry, biochemistry, and yet they are in the center of a lot of industrial development, and also at the center of very rich marine resources. So we will really try to get to that Bantayan Island, resource with your help, Rex, with Coke's help, and with Chancellor Leo's help. Okay. Now I'd like to read the question of Gladys, President Gladys, or maybe she can just speak up. But I think you will read in the chat box that Alvin has to go now because he has another event. And so we will continue this for another 15 minutes. because all of us, I think, have to go at some point.
Okay.
Andres Philip Mayol says, it is a very informative, excellent presentation. Thank you, Sir Rex. So, Gladys, please, President Gladys now.
Morning, everyone. Congratulations, Sir Rex, for your very comprehensive presentation and always a very comprehensive answers to questions. So I'm just concerned about the microplastics. You know, the presence of microplastics in fish feed, and of course, the concern about the potential implication for human health. So I just want you to give a comment on this, what the risk of these particles being transferred to our human body. So can you just comment about this, and what is the fish feed industry doing about this?
That's a very good. Before the industry is not yet worried about microplastic, but I would first have my comment regarding microplastic. The toxicity data for indirect consumption is not yet available because most people, they're just concerned on the health of the consuming animal, but not the health of the one that consumes the animal. So there is no evidence, or it is not yet fully, for example, in exporting fishery products, antibiotic residue is milligram per kilogram meat, something like that. There is no such thing yet for aquatic animals. The toxic limit or the acceptable limit for microplastic in animals is not yet established. So, secondly, toxicity for indirect consumption, no data, not yet established. For example, I have a joke. Sodium chloride is toxic to kidney function and has been linked to a lot of mortalities related to heart attack, diabetes, and see what is a lot of sodium chloride. Should we stop eating fish? The same is true with microplastics. What is the tolerable level? What is the toxicity level? It is not yet established. Another thing is the detection level developed, is the detection method developed for other system applicable for aquaculture? Because cultured fish, there are a lot of plastic-like material as component of fish, like cellulose. Cellulose from rice bran, from rice hull, from wheat middlings. They may behave like plastics when viewed under a microscope, and they are so minute that a researcher may consider that one as plastic by visualization. And it will be not economical if every particle should be picked up and analyzed under further transform FLIR. So the question is, do we have the method for plastic detection in aquatic animals should be standardized? Because there is no standard method for detection, and that is the direction that the feed industry should also pursue. Because as of now, there is really no movement on how to check for microplastic in feed ingredients and how it is transmitted to cultured animals. At the same time, is it a transient contamination, or is it sticking or go inside the cultured animal? There is no study on that yet. And the primary feed manufacturer, the direction that should be pursued really is to determine microplastic in every ingredient. I think, but as of now, wala pa naman. But yun ang naman, detection, optimization of detection, establishment of the tolerable toxic level for food animals. At the same time, yung pag-detect, wala pang standard protocol na develop. Siguro yun ang research direction po. Yun lang po ang masabi ko po, ma'am. Thank you.
First of all, Rex, hindi ka pa member ng PAASE. Kaya please tell me now, will you be nominated by me to join PAASE? Please.
Sabi ko na sa'yo, Rex eh.
Yan eh. Gusto ko lang pong sabihin, you must collaborate with Diana Aga, or PASECO awardee, because she has done analysis of not what you call these microplastics, Gladys, but no pesticides in fish. Do you remember that she has this study on what we call PBDEs, polybrominated diphenyl ethers, and then you have organochlorines and organophosphorus. Kasama niya dito, mga taga-Ateneo. Okay? So pumunta sila sa palengke at tinignan nila yung mga bangus. And well, they found these deposits in the fat, which is what we love, which is what I like to eat. Yung mga ganon. So kailangan talagang hard science ang talagang gagawin natin, pero on the field na, or even in the market. No? So I think we have to strengthen our capabilities by collaborating with one another and recognize who are the experts in PASE that you can collaborate with. And Diana had been here for several visits, Fulbright, and she had this big grant that we were part of in UP, in NSRI, and this was with India and other Asian countries to monitor these types of what you call pollutants, including now microplastics, Gladys, that we are concerned in our fish, no? Pero what Rex provides here is really alternatives, no? With his meals from plants, from sweet potato, or now from the algae. Okay, so I think this is a very promising field, and I also wish that we could really collaborate closely with UP Cebu to jumpstart this kind of research in UP Cebu. All right, so I think remember, no regulatory, no market sales. Yan ang laging sinasabi ni Al. Okay, and then I think you missed, we cannot help if we are not looped in the UP system. Kulang ng not dyan. Kailangan mag-loop in the UP system. Right, Al? Yaan. Okay, so meron pa ba? I'd like to recognize the presence of our Professor Emeritus, Irene Villasenor of Chemistry, UP Diliman. Very, very knowledgeable in small molecule research and bioactivity research. And we'd also like to recognize, of course, the presence of, well, some of them I cannot read well. I have to check the the complete name of our participant from ASU. So let me just check that. So I just want to recognize all of you who are really identified for joining us today. Okay, ASU, Modesto, Melden, Intoy, this must be Agusan State University, I'm not sure. Dr. Cora Claudio of the Management Association of the Philippines, and CASA convener, who's very interested in the blue economy and our natural resources capital accounting. And then we have others, and I would like to thank you all today for joining us, most especially our speaker, our outstanding speaker, Dr. Rex Traifalgar of UP Visayas. And thank you, Dr. Vic Ilag, for making this possible. I think that Plentex should sign an MOU with the University of the Philippines.
We have an existing agreement.
Fantastic. No? So let's Al, hanapan natin ng paraan to give this more bone or more meat. Okay? So more meal. Meron yes.
Dr. Cora Claudio is raising her hand.
All right, wonderful. Dr. Cora, now it's
Thank you very much. Just for the information of everyone, we have 2 priority bills that are pending, and one PENCAS, Philippine Ecosystem and Natural Capital Accounting System, which should really encourage or even mandate the accounting of all of these potential sources of things that we need, that are present in our environment, which we really have not done. are supposed to be the global center of marine biodiversity, but I have not seen any really complete accounting of what we have. I think the California Academy of Sciences has more data on this than us, no? Really, we have to put up a good database on all of this, including the researches that are going on. And then the other one, that PENCAS bill has already passed the third reading, so we expect it to be a law soon. The other one is on blue economy, and I encourage you to look at the website of our legislative body, so that you can read the blue economy bill that is pending, that has already passed the first reading. I really think that we should focus more on our aquatic resources, because we are a man, right? Maritime and archipelagic nation. And I think we are too focused on land-based agriculture when we are floating in water. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Cora. I was just in Congress Monday and Tuesday, and yes, PENCAS was mentioned again because this was a policy research forum of the NRCP with Congress, and our researchers at the NRCP presented their research in Mindanao, in various parts of Mindanao, and they are supported. These researches were solicited by congressmen and mayors as a basis for policy. So you will be happy to know that PENCAS was mentioned at our discussion last Monday and Tuesday. Thank you so much for your advocacy of the blue economy. You might know that the University of the Philippines is established or is establishing, already approved at the POR, the Archipelagic and Ocean Study Virtual University. So, yun po ang balita, and of course it involves UP Visayas, UP Cebu, UP Diliman Marine Science Institute as the prime movers. And even if it's virtual, it will rely a lot on the research that people like Dr. Rex Traifalgar are doing on the ground. And of course, we are also going to try to address the issues of the West Philippine Sea. So if there aren't any more questions and comments at this point, no more raised hands, anybody else? Mukhang wala na. So I would like to thank everyone so much for joining us today. And I would like to advertise next Friday's PAASE for Philippine Innovation Fireside Chat. This is my good friend now, fellow executive member of the National Innovation Council, Mark Sultan Garzava. He is Igorot ethnically. He has secured an ancestral domain with fellow IPs in Nueva Ecija, about 3,000. He's working actively on 170 hectares now with the Bamboo High project, where he has produced bamboo products. But Mark grew up and graduated in Sultan Kudarat. He is a graduate of Sultan Kudarat State University. He is 38 years old, and he represents the MSME sector in the National Innovation Council. So he's a very outstanding guy. And, he was invited to Germany just 2 months ago. And there he saw how Germany does research and innovation using the Fraunhofer model of technological universities and research institutes. So he will talk to us about his Bamboo High projects. And also, I told him to tell us a bit more about the Fraunhofer model. Thank you very much, everyone. And have a good day. Have a good evening. So,
Thank you, Giselle.
yes, Gladys, any announcements, President Gladys?
Yes, maybe we would like to announce that we have an upcoming conference in July, from July 13 to 22, it's a caravan conference starting in University of Rizal system for 2 days from July 13 to 14. And then July 15 to 17, the main event is here in UPLB. And this will be followed by going to Batangas State University. And then the last event is at Eastern Visayas State University. So please join us. We'll be sending out pub mats. We encourage everybody to attend. The registration fees are very affordable, especially if you have graduate students. We have fellowships. And so if all they have to do is apply, and we have some guidelines, and then they will be able to attend the conference for free and present their work as a poster presentation and be part of the PAASE family. Their names will be included on the website. So please do join us and attend the APAMS conference. Giselle, you promised me you will attend all of the sites. Okay?
This is our Balik Kasabayan Mo Tayo na program during the pandemic.
Yes.
Now you're making it come true, President Gladys. So thank you so much.
Yes.
We're gonna go, tour different parts of the country to do our R&R, but also visit the universities and the RICS and the DOST facilities, so that as scientists we can really assess what's going on in different parts of the country. Thank you so much, President Gladys. So exciting. Oh my God, my gosh, Dr. Cora is from Nueva Ecija. I'll be very interested to contact him. Yes, please attend our meeting. We were just together yesterday at the National Innovation Council, 1 to 3 p.m. in Malacanang, and then followed by, a meeting with Secretary R.C. Balisacan and the team in a restaurant afterwards. So I think it's kind of moving forward, but let's see. Let's keep our fingers crossed, no? That things are moving forward. Okay, so look at this. One task that we want to help our group on is on raising K for whatever we can already produce and for products can be sold in bulk globally. My family is formed with other investors, shoppable, to offer our products wholesale to both our local and global markets. Let me tell you that Dr. Cora has another major venue or market for selling our products. And this is her amazing son's, Toby's sports products, which has expanded in leaps and bounds in the last 2 years. So Dr. Cora, please help us. Please help us, share our products maybe at the pre-commercialization stage with your sons and your son's company and his friends, who might be our champions of local productivity and innovation. Thank you so much. Imbis na lahat imported, magbenta rin tayo ng mga local products natin. Thank you. There is the contact number of Dr. Cora, everybody, if you're interested in any products that you would like to share with her and her son that are related to health. Kasi po ang mga sports buffs, they want high protein, like, President Gladys, yung whey protein na yan, talagang saan yan talaga minamarket? Sa mga sportsmen, sa mga athletes, and you have such a product, and you have already such a product also, Gladys.
Yes. We're still developing it. Still in the optimization part.
Nag-e-echo na tayo. I think meron ng problema yung ating sound system. Okay, we'll end it now and have a find time to rest and re-energize. Okay?
Thank you.
Very much.
Maraming salamat po sa lahat. We'll end now. Salamat po.